Hey Gemini, thank you so much for joining me for your Written in the Stars Horoscope for October. Really happy to see you. I'm Madeline if you haven't been here before, and if you're back, hooray! So, something awesome is happening this month, which I feel like I always say, but it feels like it's always true. So on the 10th, the planet of fortune, luck, growth, expansion, basically the biggest and most magnanimous planet in the solar system, Jupiter, is changing signs. He'll be moving out of Libra and into Scorpio on October 10th, where he'll remain for a little over a year. He'll move out into Sagittarius November of next year. So, for you, Gemini, that means that Jupiter is blessing your house of work and routine. This is the house of your job, the house of your health and habits. So Jupiter, like I said, brings blessings wherever he goes, and he also brings expansion and growth. So for some of you, this could mean a raise. For some of you, this could mean a new job or a better job, or things just picking up and going better at your job. It's also a really wonderful time to commit to self-improvement, to who you want to be, to what kind of habits really create the steps to your goal, right? Because the goal is wonderful, but we've got to have steps to get there. So this is going to be a really fantastic year for growth and improvement when it comes to, if there is something that you want to work on, if there is a craft that you want to hone, if there is a business that you want to do, a project that you want to do, this is the time to really the rubber meets the road. There can really be a lot of wonderful expansion and improvement. The more that you work on your routine, the more you are rewarded, okay? So think very clearly about who you are, what you want, and what is going to get you there, and Jupiter will help you, okay? All right, now, that said, as usual, we're going to do your 2 readings, starting with the story of your month, followed by the fiercely focused spread at the end, a quick 5-card spread to look at what's going on and what the, ooh, Spirit's already spitting out cards for you. Ah, yeah, love it, growth, awesome. And coming, and he's moving into your 6th house, like work and routine. This is like the work and routine card. This is like hone your craft. This is like sit down and stuff. I love it. Okay, I'm sorry. I promise not to get no, I don't. I was going to say I promise not to get too excited, Gemini, but I don't. I don't promise that. I can't. And if you've been here before, you know me. Okay. All right, Gemini. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising. What do they need to know, Spirit, in October for their highest good? What patterns, what experiences, what external energies do they need to be aware of in October? October 2017 for Gemini. For Gemini. Wow. Gemini. Gemini. What do they need to know, Spirit? Gemini, sun, moon, and rising. My twins. Gemini. Gemini. I swear you'll get to see in just a second. Gemini. Gemini. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising. Spirit, what is the ultimate lesson? What do they need to know? Beautiful. In October. Okay. And get everybody straightened out. Bear with me as you get a whole lot on my face as I adjust this for you. Okay. All right. You can see that? Okay. Okay, Gemini. A lot of growth. A lot of growth, and I see a lot of opportunity. There's definitely a focus on your money this month and about choosing where you put your energy, choosing where you put your effort. Okay, Gemini, this isn't going to surprise you. You have a problem with commitment. You have a problem with, you've got this quicksilver mind, which is a wonderful gift of yours, wonderful. You can move so fast from topic to topic. You know, you're kind of this walking encyclopedia. You know a little bit about a lot of things. You're fascinating to be around and enjoyable, but sometimes it can be very hard for you to say, okay, these 2 or 3 things, these are my priorities and that's it. Like, this is where I'm going to be spending the bulk of my time because X, Y, and Z are my goals, my priorities. It can be hard for you to prioritize because the world is so big. The world is so amazing. There are so many things to study, to do, to think, to talk about. But it will really benefit you this month to sit down and get serious, to hone your craft, literally. So for some of you, it's like sit down at the sewing machine or the sketchbook or the computer and work on your coding. What is it that you're trying to enhance about yourself? There is a real blossoming possible here. This is the card for the apprentice becoming the master. Now, what's that going to take? You have to be honest with yourself. This is a wonderful card. This is strength. Strength is, of course, as you can probably tell, it's about inner strength, not outer strength. It could have been a card with a guy with a shotgun or a couple big biceps, but instead it's a lovely lady kneeling at the feet of the King of Beasts, and yet he seems all too happy to submit to her. This lion represents your inner beast, Gemini. Your desires, your the parts of us that sometimes we feel like we have to cage. Desire, anger, depression. It's time to be fully who you are. That is when you really can embrace your power. Okay, what Spirit is bringing up to me right now is the fact that Jupiter moving into Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign of the shadow, what is hidden, right? And that's what strength is all about. And Jupiter is the sign of blessings. So this month, you get a lot of blessings when you acknowledge your weaknesses as well as your strengths. When you give yourself support instead of, like when you're in a moment of weakness, let us say, a moment of rage or a moment of depression, instead of beating yourself up, to forgive yourself and to give yourself that leeway and know that, like, hey, I'm human. We all go through this. And the sooner that you are kind to yourself about it and especially acknowledge it rather than trying to like suppress it and pretend it's not happening, the sooner you can access all that untapped power that is trapped in anything that you're kind of like repressing and pushing down. So whatever unacknowledged desires, whatever unacknowledged needs, it's time to look at them, Gemini. They're not all good. Okay? And by that I mean, you will find that when you look closer at like, oh my God, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do this and I want to do that, when you actually get close up and look at what is in each of these cups that you say that you want to sip from, you're going to be able to cross like 4 of them at least off of your list. Okay? It's time to focus. It's time to choose. The world is in your hands. You can have what you want, but you have to go for it, Gemini. And if you stand there thinking, I have the world in my hands, but oh, I also have, you know, I've got this, sure. Ooh, but I've also got that. You could stand here and do this forever. Like, ooh, this or that, this or that, this or that. And you could like do a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit, but if you cut out one, you could do so much with this other one. You know what I'm saying? Commitment is not always your strong suit, but it's going to benefit you this month. Again, very interesting that we talked about Jupiter is moving into your house of work and improvement, and then you have cards here for work. You have cards here for getting paid. You have cards here for abiding by the rules, which is what the Hierophant is all about. What kind of rules do you need to set for yourself for success? I'm so sorry. I can see, like, well, I'm pausing in your video, Gemini. My old senior cat, who is super old, is trying to hop up on the couch. And I don't want him to hurt himself, so I am placing him ever so gently on the couch. Okay, bud. All right. Pardon my kitty interruption. Hi, bud. Yeah, come sit. No. Now he's like, yeah, now I'm going to get up on this table. No, you're not, buddy. I love you. Okay. So, playing by the rules empowers you. However, they got to be the right rules, right? They need to actually feed you and help you grow rather than keeping you restricted, which some of them currently do. Some of you are not, like, plain and simple, you're not making enough money. The resources aren't good enough. It's not, you're struggling. You're struggling, and it's like life is hard enough without worrying about not having enough just food to eat, money to spend. Wow. Okay. Spirit just said that for some of you it's because the organization at work is very poor and you're just getting saddled with more work, and not more money. And that is a totally untenable, unacceptable situation. So some of you, that's where the choice is coming. And for some of you, it's not going to feel as much like a choice. This is the Tower. This is the card of things changing dramatically, of things crumbling. I feel like some of you, there's a family situation that is kind of coming down. There's a situation in which Spirit is saying, like, things are going to get turned upside down a little bit. But I have to tell you, and I swear I'm not just saying this to make you feel better, I really feel that this has to happen for things to get healthy. What Spirit, this is so gross, but this is what they're showing me and telling me. It's kind of like a sore rupturing or coming to a head. Like the poison has to come out, okay? So for some of you, this is kind of wild, but what they're telling me is like secrets are coming out. But it had to happen. It's not easy. This is the right time to assess where you are. This is the right time to do kind of a life review, Gemini. To think, okay, if I'm the farmer and this is my harvest, and this is like the result of all the hard work I've done over the last year, am I happy with what I have? Or do I need to make a big change in the way I'm working or what I'm growing? Like, what have you been growing? What has come home to roost, Gemini? Are you making enough money? Or are you one of these Geminis who is struggling and tightening your belt and like you keep going and going, but it's not getting better? That may be where the rupture is. There may be like a change in your job. There may be, again, like they said, for some of you, it's a shift in your family. They're general readings, of course, Gemini. So if you want to go in depth and talk one-on-one, my shop is linked below. You can totally do that. But they're definitely saying that whether it's happening in your family or in your job, there's a restructuring. There's a revolution happening. There's change in the hierarchy coming. Honestly, like, again, I promise I'm not saying this just to sound like crazy optimistic. You got to take this as an opportunity because that is what it is. Okay, opportunities don't always look golden, but sometimes they are, even when they look like lead. Okay, this coming down, this tower falling, is allowing for exchange to take place. Is like kind of like what Spirit is showing me is like a dam that breaks and suddenly there's a flow, because the Six of Pentacles is a card of harmony. It's a card of exchange. It's a card of, I did the work, now you give me the money. Like, I've invested in you, now I get, you know, the return on my investment. Some of you are coming to a powerful realization that you need to do your own thing. Here you are, the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Magic. She's got a literal magic wand in her hand and a cool little black cat sitting at her feet. The Queen of Wands is warm and sociable and charismatic. I'm not sure, but I feel like you may have even gotten this in a recent reading. Maybe it was last month. But they're telling you that you're a natural leader, Gemini, And maybe that doesn't always look the way that you think it does. The thing about the Queen of Wands is that she's not up on her throne, sitting on high, looking at, you know, the villagers like, pish posh, I'm the queen. Like, the Queen of Wands is down there dancing with the commoners. You know what I'm saying? Having a wonderful time. She is warm. She relates to them. She knows that she is one of them, that nothing separates her except the little crown on her head. And that is what makes her warm and wonderful. You can really build a community around you. Some of you are entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs or creatives. Build your network. Build your network, and if you experience disappointments at work around money or around the amount of work that you're doing, let that drive you to do your own thing. Let that drive you to be like, all right, whether it's time to look for a new job, or time to seek a promotion, or time to do my own thing because that's what I've always wanted to do anyway, it's time to make a change. That's what I'm definitely feeling, is there is an unignorable need to make a change in October. Now, the beautiful thing, I see generosity coming to you, and I see you giving generously as well. Some of you are doing work for other people for free this month, and it's going to pay off. That's what they just said. I'm just the messenger. Okay. I love that your reading ends with these two. In fact, I'm going to force you to take more of me. Pardon, Gemini. Okay. Because I want to look at you face to face. I got stuff to say to you, Gemini. Not these guys. Okay. I know. It's too much. Okay. Okay. So, the Fool and the Emperor. They are very different characters, and I really like that the Fool is like strolling. He's strolling and becoming this Emperor. Boop. You got to take the leap of faith this month. Some of you, though, here's the thing. I'm saying that you need to take a leap of faith. Now, that doesn't mean go into work tomorrow and quit your job and burn the boats and like then I'm just going to figure out a way to pay my rent somehow. That's not what I'm talking about. There's a reason that they said, look at where you are and make a plan, because something is going to offer you an opportunity to go on a bold new adventure. And Spirit wants you to be open-minded, open-hearted. The Fool is the first card in the tarot, but he is not number 1, he's number 0. The clean slate, the unbroken circle of creation, the origin of all possibilities and potential. What do you want to be, Gemini? What do you want to be? Where do you want to be? When other people look at you and what you have created, what you have yielded with your time on earth, what do you want them to see? What do you want to be your legacy? What do you want to be known for? Your final card, the Emperor. Again, very interesting coming up after we talk about how Jupiter is moving into your house of work, your job. The Emperor is the ultimate boss, the ultimate authority figure, and also the ultimate representative of order, of having good habits, of having routines that set you up for success. It's time to set yourself up for success, Gemini. It's time to act like, whether you are an aspiring entrepreneur or creative, or you just want to make more money at the job that you have, like whatever employment that you have, it's time to act like you're your own boss. It's time to ask yourself, what would the best version of me do every day? Would they get up at a certain time? Would they work out? Would they eat differently? Would they live by a calendar? What would they do? Would they keep lists? What would they do? Would they dress differently? What makes you an emperor? I could say an empress for you female Geminis that are listening, but the empress is a totally different energy. So male or female, what makes you the boss? What makes you the man? If I'm going to put it like that. Okay. All right. So that said, let's now look at your fiercely focused spread and see what Spirit wants to tell you in terms of a theme for your month, and then some action steps that you can take to really make the most of it. Okay. So let's start here. What does Gemini need to know? A! This is the blessing and the curse of living with cats. Like, what are you wrecking in there? No, really, it's that I have 2 that are feuding. Just want to make sure nothing bad's happening. Have to play warden sometimes. Okay. Okay, Gemini. What is the theme for Gemini in October? What does Gemini need to know for their highest good, Spirit? Their highest good. What do they need to know? Wow. Hey, it's your card. This is like zodiacally the card that represents you. The Lovers, the choice, big important decision, crossroads. The Lovers does talk about love, but more often it involves a choice, a passionate choice. And I'm feeling like this is the moment where a lot of you, it's kind of like put your money where your mouth is. Like they said, where do you want to be? Who do you want to be? What do you want to be your legacy? Choose. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. My poetry nerds, are you hearing me? I'm going to link the poem in the description so that you guys can see what the fuck I'm talking about. But it is a beautiful poem all about the fact that it's especially poignant for you, Gemini, because you are the twins, you are the duality. You're never satisfied by one thing, you want to try everything. And the Two Roads Diverged poem is all about how we have to choose one, and kind of the difficulty and the poignancy of having to choose and having to leave one behind. But it is time to choose, Gemini. That is where your power is. Your power isn't in not choosing. Your power isn't in keeping your options open this month. It's in picking the option you want. Okay? It's a big one. Okay. Now, let's look at your finances, your health, what's going on in the earthly realm in October for Gemini, Spirit. The earthly realm. What's going on with their money, finances, physical health. What does Gemini need to know in October? I like it. King of Pentacles. He's quite related to the Emperor in a way. The savvy businessman, the builder of empires. If you took everything he has today, he would start rebuilding tomorrow, because the King of Pentacles doesn't think it's about resources. He knows it's about how resourceful you are. Spirit is saying that some of you have a really valuable mentor in your life, whether you know this person or not, whether you think of them as a mentor or not. There's somebody who's really savvy with money and business that they want you to talk to. Some of you, it might be like literally they want you to, you know, like hire a coach or hire like a financial consultant, somebody who can really help you put these things in order. If you need an expert opinion, Gemini, get an expert opinion. Go to somebody who knows like what you want to do or has ended up where you want to end up, and pick their brain. This person can give you a lot of really good resources. And I'm not talking about in the sense of like handing you money. I'm talking about Spirit just said they can teach you about inspiration and perspiration. Okay, so maybe they can just point you in the right direction of these are the steps that you need to take. This is what I did in order to get these results. Consult that person, consult that expert, okay? Okay, so now Gemini, wow. Like, geez, this guy just like flew out. I don't think you saw that. Another king. Here you are, Gemini. Finally, an air sign, King of Swords, King of Words, the monarch, which is why he has these monarch butterflies. You gotta be honest. You gotta be honest, and you gotta take control this month. King, emperor, everything is saying that you need to master the game. You need to know yourself, and you need to ask the right questions, is what Spirit just said. So be kind of, you know the way that they were saying, be compassionate with yourself and be like exactly who you are and be forgiving of that. Let that honesty be a part of the equation. Be like unabashedly, kind of brutally honest with yourself about like, these are my skills, these are my talents, this is the amount of work I'm willing to put in, the amount of time I'm willing to put in. Can I get anything out of this, or do I need to make another change? Be just radically honest with yourself, kind of like Spirit is showing me, for those of you who, oh no, am I even going to remember? Office Space, okay. The movie Office Space. They're showing me the Bobs. Like the Bobs walking into work and looking around and looking at what is efficient and what is not. Be the Bobs in your life. And if you know what I'm talking about, I love you. And if you don't, I apologize. Okay, so now let's look at what's going on with you emotionally. What's going on in your heart? What's going on With your relationships, Gemini, how are you relating? How are you feeling? How are other people feeling about you? What's going on in your heart? A little bit of grief, a little bit of crying over spilled milk. It's like they said, okay, with that Seven of Cups, they're not all good options, Gemini. So if something doesn't work out, if some of your cups get tipped over, I want you to notice he's staring at these 3 cups in front of him with this mourning cloak, and he's got his head so far down that he might like take a step back and kick over the 2 cups that are actually still there and still upright. You don't want to lose the things that are really working for you. So please, as difficult as it is, as cold comfort as it may feel, if Spirit, God, the big good, whatever you want to call it, comes over into your life and kicks over your cups, it's because if you sipped from what was in there, it was going to poison you, okay? It was toxic. Spirit is bringing me again that Tower card saying something is falling down this month that was toxic, that wasn't working, that had a faulty foundation. And as difficult as it is, please trust that. Please trust that it had a faulty foundation and it needed to fall in order for you to actually see what is left, see what is working for you, see what you do want. And I want you to really also notice that as much as these empty cups are there, he's standing right in front of a rushing river. There's a bridge, there's another piece of land on the other side. There are new beginnings. And when he's ready, he can pick up these empty cups and refill them with fresh water. Okay? Something is being moved out of your way this month so that you can capitalize on what's left, on what really works for you, Gemini, okay? And finally, let's look at what is lighting you up, what is activating Gemini, what is lighting a fire under your ass this month, October for Gemini, what is sparking Gemini, what is activating, catalyzing, inspiring Gemini. Page of Wands, same card, different deck. Speak your piece. Speak up. Get your message out there, Gemini. You don't need, this is the thing about you. You're really smart. And because you're really smart and because you have a good vocabulary, you fucking feel it when you know that you're not using the right words, you're not coming off as smooth as you could be, or you've seen other people present it in a better way or whatever. It can be difficult for you to put yourself out there. But Spirit is saying you need to shine. You need to put your creativity out there. It's the only way to learn, to be honest. You're going to start out as a page, and you will work your way up to that queen that was in your previous reading. So it's kind of like they're telling you, embrace a student mentality. Embrace a mentality of like, I'm excited to learn. I'm really, like, this is awesome. I'm going to be like, if I can learn this, then I can do X, Y, and Z that I have in my plans that I really want. And think of it as a fun adventure to enhance these skills. Spirit is also saying some of you keep an eye on your inbox or like your texts because you're receiving an inspiring message this month. I feel like some of you are going to get a visit from someone like randomly, like a younger friend or someone who is really like, I'm feeling like very cute, very like, oh my god, this person is so, like their enthusiasm is contagious, like when they get excited, I get excited, that kind of thing. So look forward to maybe a message or a visit from somebody who is really fun and exciting for you. That is very nice to see, Gemini, especially, when you got this 5 of Cups here, you're going to want some extra support and love this month, and I see it there for you. So thank you so much, Gemini. I really hope this is helpful, and of course, again, if you want to go more in depth, you can book a reading below, but I would love to hear what this is doing for you, like whether it's in the comments or you find me on social media. Let me know if this is ringing bells for you or bringing up questions. Your feedback really helps me create more and better content for you. So I always want to hear what you think, especially you Geminis, you think a lot. Air signs, I like it. Okay, thank you so much again, Gemini. Prepare for a whole lot of face, and I will see you in November. Bye-bye.